exist when you didn't exist. I am Corbett. I am 54.
And I'm Lucy, and I'm 24. Woot woot.
There you go. 30 years of difference, and we're still connected by blood.
Only by blood. Nothing else.
So anyway, let's start the party, Lucy. And the way you start the party in my day was with a boombox. You showed up with a big old box full of stereo, and the whole world lit up. That was the quickest and easiest way without bringing an entire band to make a party happen. The boombox was actually invented probably like in the 60s, I want to say, vaguely, only because the transistor radio, the battery-powered transistor radio, I remember that from Gilligan's Island, which is before my time.
Yes.
Sorry. But it became a portable transistor radio with a single speaker. The boombox really kind of hit probably closer to the late 80s and early 90s with two stereophonic speakers and a tape deck. Typically, radio tape deck, and toward the 90s and a little bit into the 2000s with a CD player. I think you remember this, don't we? Had one that was designed for an iPod. Like instead of the radio and CD player or whatever, it was just like a little docking spot for an iPod to sit in.
I think it was a combination of all three, because I remember seeing the tape deck and I'm like, what is this for? Because we didn't have tapes in the house. I remember.
How could I trust you with tapes?
We had VHS tapes.
Cassette tapes are delicate.
So are VHS tapes, are they not?
Nah, VHS tapes are bulky and chunky. But that was probably the last iteration I remember. And you, I guess, did get to see that. So there you go. But the big ghetto blaster, which was I think it was the catchphrase of the 90s, was the ghetto blaster. Because a block party would happen. You throw down the boombox, and the bigger it was, the louder it was going to be. And of course, you see somebody walking with something that looks like the size of a refrigerator. That is going to be loud.
Were they actually that big, though?
I don't know if they were quite as big as a refrigerator, but I've definitely seen some very, very large ones. I think where was it at? I was digging it up, like dates and stuff earlier. And there's one on Wikipedia, the C100F boombox by Canyon, which was probably the most typical looking one. And it's, I don't know, the size of like two boot boxes, like to buy boots in.
Mm-hmm.
If you put two of those side by side, it's pretty big. And there were bigger ones than that, I remember.
So if someone brought the boombox, did you assign someone else to bring the tapes? Or was the person that had the boombox the person that also had the tapes?
Usually the person who has the boombox has the tapes.
Well, that seems terrible. You're just a pack mule.
Hey, the fact that you had portable music was amazing. You just showed up and the party was ready to happen. And that's pretty cool because honestly, anything like that would take like a whole stereo and cases of cassettes, which you'd still have several boxes of cassettes because they had the cassette carriers. I think I've still got mine somewhere around here. It only holds about 15 or so, but it's like a little lunch pail size thing.
Oh, okay.
Granted, 15 isn't a lot, but that's like 15 hours. So with the exception of having to flip the sides. I'm going to go with yes.
Okay.
So just accept my words as the God's honest truth, and there's no way you can go back on it, so there.
Your old defined wisdom. I'll let you have it, I suppose.
I will admit the ones that were the coolest were the ones that instantly flipped the tapes for you, so you didn't even have to sit there and flip tapes every time the tape ran out.
Very bougie.
Because the tape only plays one side, and then you usually have to pop it, flip the tape. Like I said, the bigger they were, the louder they were. And that's really cool because then you had like essentially a party in a suitcase. It's probably the best way to look at it.
That's ridiculous.
No, it's totally... Don't you like having a party?
Well, it's just the idea of being like, guys, I'm here for the party, and you're pulling up with a suitcase is just funny.
It's person... with the sound, and there's DJs who do that now, so don't give me guff over that.
Well, yes, but you know that it's a DJ. It's not just a friend that's pulling up and like, guys, check out my music, and you have the suitcase. Like, it's funny.
It's the thing. It's a suitcase full of sound. And the more cool it was, the more options it had, like as far as adding in the CD player, adding in microphone jacks, so you could DJ to a certain sense. I think I remember seeing some. I don't remember ever having one, but I do remember some that would actually play records, which is insane if you put that one to thought.
Yeah, that's a lot of effort.
That is a whole. And you know, imagine showing up with a case of records. Get with that one. But usually, the bigger they were, the heavier they were, and more specifically, the louder they could be, the heavier bass they could carry. And it was in, a lot of the movies of the time. I think the one that sticks out in mind off the top of my head is, oh, now I'm blanking on it.
I feel like any of those dance movies from the 90s and 2000s always had a boombox in them. Because it always started off with the classic like, "Oh, I break dance in the streets with my boombox," and then they end up going into
Oh,
professional
okay.
dance or something.
Sorry. Took me a minute. I had to rethink of the one with the obvious thing that you're going to recognize and know where you first see a boombox, first see one and its purpose. There was a movie in the 80s called Say Anything with John Cusack, where he holds it up to play the song for the girl up in the window.
Yes, the classic romantic gesture.
That's the one where you first see, like, straight out in culture, in the movie culture, it's the boombox moment. I think there was one in like Risky Business, and of course in like New Jack City, and oh, doggone it, I should know the other one. Escape from New York. Yeah, Escape from New York was one that's more of a futuristic take, but it's kind of funny that that's a futuristic take in the 90s set with a boombox from the 80s. But I'm not going to go into that. But boomboxes were a big part of culture from the 80s all through the 90s, even though they probably started. I think the first ones really did appear probably in the 60s. But I don't remember anything like it until the 70s ended and the 80s started, and sort of the street culture came into play where people were needing music right there on the street. That was a way to make it happen. You didn't have to go to a club or a disco. You just did it right there. That's when like a lot of breakdancing came out. Like you said, the dance movies were part of that kind of culture. And then they really sort of faded off by the end of the 90s and the beginning of the 2000s. That's where I guess it was easier to have like your phone and just tie it in with some sort of quick pocket speaker that's just about as loud as any of those boom boxes were, because Bose made loud stuff.
Yeah.
But, that's the way it was back in the day. So now that the future is all awesome and you never need music again and don't need to stand outside to make romantic gestures to people, what do you do now?
Well, I think that there's something to be said about the idea of bringing music back to your personal self. Because I know that the boombox kind of went away because of the increase of pocket devices and MP3 players and headphones and that kind of thing. Because the whole reason that we like music in the first place is because we connect to it in some way. And music is a very personal thing.
Well, I would say it's kind of like having your own personal soundtrack. Because I
Yeah.
know the Walkman was about the same time, and the Walkman was very much your personal music that you're listening to, and you're not bothering other people.
Yeah.
Oh, that's what it was. Star Trek. I couldn't think of that stupid movie.
Probably your
How's
favorite
that?
movie of all time.
Oh, my favorite movie is Star Trek 4, when the guy's got the boombox and he's playing it on the bus, and Captain Kirk asks him to shut it up, and he's like, he flips him off, so Spock nerve pinches him, and the music goes off too somehow, even though I don't know how that works. Anyway, sorry.
Well, I think so. You have the personal aspect of music, but I also think that it was probably annoying to just carry that big box around. And I don't know when personal speakers started becoming a thing, I guess. But I know a lot of people now will just have their own little Bluetooth speaker, and now they're like tiny little power pocket things. Like they can be the size of a soda can and have some pretty decent sound to them.
Yeah, they really do. I'm sad to admit that one, but yeah.
It doesn't need to be a boom box. It can just be like a music machine.
Well, it is interesting to see how much sound can come out of a small speaker nowadays. It would be interesting to see if they remade the boombox as a sort of a retro future thing,
Yeah.
what they could do with that, because that would be amazingly loud, I would think.
Yeah. And I mean, most people's speakers out of their phones are pretty decent. I mean, not great. That's why most people would buy a speaker in the first place. But
Oh, don't let my AV guy know that. He hates it whenever I pull out my phone and like, oh, listen to this song. It's like, oh, I can't hear it on your tinny stupid phone.
oh man. And yeah, we have a lot of AV systems that exist now. People are paying thousands of dollars for advanced sound systems in their homes so they can have the perfect ambiance or what have you. I think we're finding new ways to appreciate sound in a better way. Whereas I feel like even if we went back to the 1700s when they were playing the harpsichord or whatever, if it was out of tune, people would notice that were musically inclined at least.
Oh, that's a very good point.
Um,
But actually, even people who weren't musically inclined would tend to notice too,
yeah,
because that was the only thing they were hearing at the time. And to have personal music seems almost impossible. To have public music is just about as impossible because you have to have a group of people willing to play.
yeah. So it's all connected. But I think the boombox has a nice idea for community, at least, because you're trying to bring everyone together and you're all listening to the same sound. And you can do the same thing with a speaker. But I think kind of like a personal, I guess, complaint or qualm that I have is typically when you play music for a group of people, you screen yourself a little bit because you don't want to play your music because not everyone listens to your music. So you try to play the music of the general public that they all want to listen to. And so it can be kind of, in my mind, I get a little bit anxious when they're like, here, take over the aux. And I'm like, I don't know what anyone listens to. So I get nervous when that happens. But I know a lot of people may not get as nervous when that happens.
It's just a matter of, I guess, showing off what you have and what you like. I think the only thing I ever get anxious about in that situation is when I pick something that everybody has heard. I think at your mother's, what was it, her employee party one year. What was it? I played the song, I don't want to work, I just want to bang on the drum all day, because it's a really fun song and I enjoy it. But it's like in their music list at work, so everybody there had heard it 15 times a day. And I didn't realize that. So like, oh, and they were just all looking at me just livid, like, oh, I hate you. I'm like, oops. It's a good song. Sorry. It is a fun song. I don't care.
Well, see, and that's the thing. You either have to really know your audience and know what they want, or you just kind of have to put your reputation on the line, as it were, to play the music that you think people are going to like. But that's the whole point of the boombox or the speaker is you're trying to bring everyone together with music. So it's a high power to hold, I feel like.
That's a really good point. It is a thing that a lot of people, well, I wouldn't say everybody comes together for music, but most people will find a song as a memory to a certain extent. You know, oh, that was the song I was listening to when this happened, so it always brings back this memory. I know I always teased this one couple at a bar when I was younger because they always would get up whenever Desperado played because it was their song, and I would always try to play it and just to make them get up and dance every time. Well, it's about like, John Mulaney does a stand-up bit where he puts on What's New Pussycat
Oh, yeah.
over and over and over again in a diner that has like those little pay point jukebox things.
Mm-hmm.
And it drives the entire diner crazy. So it can be, I guess, a point to bring people together or to make everybody mad. I don't know, but it certainly jogs a memory, and I think that's got to be good on a public level.
Yeah. Well, it relates to our senses because we can always use any of our senses specifically to connect to memory, whether it's sight or smell or sound, even.
Yeah.
I think music holds a lot of power in general, and it could be used for good or for evil. But even like if you go to a sporting game, they always play Sweet Caroline at one point
Oh,
or
yeah.
another. And everyone sings and joins in for Sweet Caroline just because
That's because everybody knows the words to Sweet
everyone
Caroline.
knows the words. But that's still a form of community, even if you're ironically going, Sweet Caroline.
There's nothing wrong with Sweet Caroline. Don't drag down Neil Diamond in your dirt.
I'm not dragging him down. I'm just saying it's a community thing.
Well, if you're at an event or something and you hear like a Swiftie song come on, you get kind of pumped, right? Because it's your song. Even though I hate to tell you this, it's hers. And I think that's what you're kind of shooting for as far as because I always get frustrated when I hear people who are like, oh, we my football team played against that football team, but our team tried harder. Like, it's that team doing it. You're not on the team.
Yeah.
And I think that's the one thing that musicians kind of have that moment of, yeah, that's my song. That's my song. When you run into somebody else who has like, that's my song too, then you're like, oh, I found somebody who likes the things I like. and that's where we all tie together. So
Yeah.
sports is the same way. I don't know, but there's no sports boom boxes.
There are
So
no
there you go.
sports boom boxes. That's true. But it's nice now, at least, because I don't know if the boombox, you would do this with the boombox, but with speakers, especially now that they're like waterproof, I think it's cool that you can bring them to the lake or to the beach, or you can take music with you anywhere. And I know there's people that think, well, you should just enjoy the nature and just enjoy the sounds, which I agree, there's points for that. But I also think that it's a nice aspect to sort of continue to bring the party with you anywhere you go, even if that's into nature.
Well, sometimes nature needs to hear the sound. I'm sure a bear would get down with some Depeche Mode. So it's okay.
Yeah.
You don't know if they dance. They
I
probably
don't know.
dance.
Maybe they like Baby Got Back. You don't know. That would be interesting.
Everybody likes a little Childish Gambino.
Ay, ay, ay. Did people bring boomboxes to the beach or to the lake?
Yeah, totally.
Really?
100%.
Even though they weren't waterproof?
Yeah, I specifically, I was sunburned so bad one summer because I was on a boat, and they all they had was a Depeche Mode tape. That's why it stuck in my head as like being out in the wild.
Ah.
And that's all it was Depeche Mode's Violator played over and over and over for like 2 or 3 hours. And I got burned to a crisp. I had to go to the hospital. So I'm constantly reminded of that pain and being out on a boat with a boombox playing Violator or Depeche Mode's Violator album over and over again.
Wow.
There's a memory for you.
Okay, and then how many batteries did it take? Because it's not charging like normal speakers are. So it had to run on batteries.
Usually they ran on D-cell batteries, which are the biggest batteries I guess you could probably find. Well, I guess there's bigger physical batteries, but that's the biggest like regular household battery you'd run into. Typically, the bigger the box, the more batteries it took. On average, I would say it took 6 to 8 D-cell batteries.
Jeez.
And it would probably you'd probably burn through the whole thing in about 6 hours, I want to say.
Oh, wow.
You might get 10. It depends on which model, which year, how much stuff you're playing. Like if you're just playing the radio, it really didn't take much. But if you were running the tape deck, it had motors and stuff running. So, and of course the amplifier is what pushes the speakers. So yeah, it got expensive in batteries, and those didn't really recycle very well.
Yeah, no, that's rough. So many batteries. That's an expensive hobby.
Music is always an expensive hobby. You should know that.
Oh, man.
Anyway, but that's boomboxes in a nutshell. So I guess that's the show.
Keep bringing in the party, people.
Keep bringing in the party. There's always a party going somewhere.